Innocence is one of my favourite books from Cathy Glass, and that's because it deals with a topic that I'm very passionate about. Maybe passionate is not the right word, but I'm very interested in it, and I can't explain that without giving a spoiler, so I will discuss it in a moment with a spoiler warning. But Innocent is one of the most recent books. I think it was released in 2019, and this is the penultimate one that I have to reread, reading them chronologically. And it's about two young children that Cathy Glass fosters, who are very, very sickly. Molly and Kate. Molly's an older child, and Kate is her younger brother, who's 18 months old. And Kate was taken to hospital by his mother after he fell down the stairs. He's got a fracture on his arm. And then there began to be warning signs. When they looked through his medical records, it seemed that he'd been to the hospital something like 60 times in his life. I can't remember the exact figure, but it was a very high number of hospital visits, and social services began to then take an active interest in this and remove the children from their home pending investigation. And it's very frustrating for Cathy and for anybody else because the children keep being sick. And the mother has reported this a lot. The mother is very paranoid about their health and sends a whole carrier bag full of over-the-counter medications with them. But doctors, allergists, nobody can find out why these children are sickly. And that is part of the main narrative, and I'll discuss the spoiler aspect in a moment. I can't remember the first time I read this because I remember being able to identify what the problem was. This time round, I knew that I remembered exactly what this was about and exactly what happened because, as I said, I'm very passionate about it. I don't remember how obvious it was the first time I read it that it was about this certain thing. But certainly once you know it, it's very easy to identify. It's definitely an important memoir because it identifies something that unfortunately falls under the radar quite a lot. How they know it falls under the radar, if it's fallen under the radar, I never know. How do you know something's been unreported? But nevertheless, it's a really important topic, and I guess I will discuss now. Well, I'll sum up first of all and say it's a brilliant read. It's got quite a frustrating ending, but it's true, it's honest, or at least it certainly feels that way. It's a gripping read, it's very compelling, and if you have an interest in this thing, which I will discuss in a moment, it's really fascinating. So, spoiler warning, I'm going to explain why the children are very sickly. This memoir is all about Munchausen's by proxy, and their mother has been making them sick. It never really looks at why she's been doing that. It very briefly touches upon the fact that she suffered a lot as a child. She was abused a lot as a child, and this seems to be a knock-on effect of that. Kind of the suggestion that she wants to, because she never had that love and care growing up, she wants to give her children that love and care. And the best way to care for a child is to make them better when they're sick. Of course, not making them sick in the first place is a pretty good way to make them better, but it never... Well, I won't say it didn't blame her for this, because Munchausen's by proxy and Munchausen's itself, it's a mental illness, and you have to draw the line somewhere with blame, but at the same time, nobody gets off scot-free. But I'm so deeply interested in by proxy that I absolutely love this, and once you know what it is, once it's revealed, it's so interesting to go back and, for me, rereading this and picking up on the warning signs and kind of understanding why some things went under the radar. But I absolutely love it. It's definitely one of my favourites. If you're a fan of Cathy Glass's books and you haven't read this, absolutely thoroughly recommend it, of course. Really thoroughly enjoy it. If you're interested in Munchausen syndrome by proxy, I think you'll find it to be really interesting. There are some statistics in it and some facts when Cathy's doing some research about it. She shares some information about what she's learned online. So even if you're completely new to it, it's easy enough to follow. But if you're passionate about it, or, not the right word, but if you're interested in this, then I think you'll really thoroughly enjoy it. It's fascinating, it's well written, definitely one of my favourites, and thoroughly recommend it.